pleasant crescent moon fills my heart with pain, fills my toes with rain. That was when I was started to be like, okay, this guy's on another level. Okay, Brent.
There you go.
It's time to talk about music, right? I'm just trying to show that I'm an audiophile. Music.
Yeah,
I love it, man. I've got the slider on in here, and then I've got Electric Warrior going on in here, and it's just kind of like everything all at once, and I'm just taking it all in. Now I listen to 2 albums at once, so I just have a bit,
man. You got to do it.
I feel like
so
I
many
could
hours
be
in the day.
I feel like it could be a Spaceballs character like this or something.
So
like a Mel Brooks character,
Yeah. Every organization is going to want you after seeing this.
I know.
That guy works like twice as hard as all the rest of the guys.
Also something we were talking about.
Exactly.
Working for a company, they want you to do twice as much with twice as less. So,
oh God.
I'll figure
I'm so sick.
This is all I'm doing. I'm just working twice as hard, man. That's it. Fuck.
There you go. There you go.
There I go.
So,
yeah, man.
We're on show. What is it? 98 now.
We are hovering at 100. Should we stop? I give up.
That's it. There you go. Wow,
I don't give up.
We haven't hit 100 yet.
I know. You're right. I got to hit 100. Then we can give up. Yeah, 98. That's it.
So we're at 98. So I had floated that idea to you about possibly doing number 99 before we hit the big 100 milestone.
Yeah.
In a look
digits.
back.
Yeah.
Of, all your I mean, it's a lot, but like what stands out, I think stuff like that's cool.
I think it would be. I agree.
If you want to do it.
I have 2 weeks to go back and listen to 98 albums and just refamiliarize myself. So. You're right. It would be more than that because we did 3 Van Halen albums and we did 2 Cinderella albums. So you're right. I had to go back and listen to well over 100 albums.
Yep. So that's a lot of headphones.
Okay. That's a lot.
Come for the music.
Okay.
Stay for the hammer, everyone.
Would 100%. We'll welcome any headphone donations should you have them. Curly cords are acceptable.
Right. Old school. I love it.
Old school. Yeah.
Retro.
I'm down. Anything further to add to that? Yeah. Are we going to do that? Should we do that?
We'll talk about it at the end of the show, but I think that would be kind of neat.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
What do you think number 100 is going to be?
Well, the Beatles.
Yeah, it will be.
I think unless I mean, we've been teasing that. I've been teasing that for the last, 15 episodes, maybe even 30. But hey, if you want to go rogue, man. I'm here. I'm just here. I am but a student, a pupil.
All
the young grasshopper.
Back to the Beatles.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. And I'll bring this up because I'll talk a little bit about it, but I've been listening to Sloan, Canadian band Sloan, who
love that.
Music was very much inspired by the Beatles. Some of those older bands, but definitely went Beatles-ish. So anyways, we'll talk about that on episode 100.
That's
Love
right.
Sloan. Nice.
Good Canadian man.
Good old Canadian man.
Let's talk about number 98.
Yeah.
Right now, however.
Yep.
So this is a band actually that did something very unique. Speaking of the Beatles. So this album came out in like 72. The Slider, T.Rex. Mark Bolan basically was T.Rex. But he did something very unique and original at that time. A lot of people were kind of nodding back to the Beatles in their musical approaches, right? Because the Beatles were like be all end all, and they changed the entire landscape of music. He skipped the Beatles in terms of influence and went back even further to Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Elvis, all that stuff. And that's what you hear in the slider. There were like nods to, Elvis and Little Richard, Buddy Holly. The greatest kind of power that this record has, in my opinion, is that it takes, the blues music that we'd heard, like Free, and we went through that cool little run that we did, right, of all those early 70s blues rock records, the Burt rock stuff. And Bolan kind of, again, this is 72, so he took that kind of heavy blues, but added this kind of smooth, kind of sexy transmutation to it, and it grooves, and it's kind of lazy and smooth. You know what I mean? And that gave rise to glam rock, really. And I mean, right. Really, like, and David Bowie came along, and Sweet and Slate and all those bands. And as time went on, you saw how influential that was. The whole hairband movement, really, in the 80s was, T.Rex. People say that Slash's top hat was influenced by Mark Bolan. He says it's not. But the influence that T.Rex had going forward through time is really, really interesting. And it's for that reason.
Yeah. REM.
White Stripes.
Yeah. I mean, like the Killers and yes. Like there's a lot.
Bands.
That's what I heard when I listened to this. I heard a whole lot of early 2000s alternative rock in this music. Slight giveaway, this was better than that stuff, but you could definitely hear it when it came on. And I messaged you when I was listening to this, and I was like, I can't believe this album came out in 1972.
I was just about to reference that. I thought that was so cool. When I read that text, I was like, that's so great.
Yeah, I was listening. I was like, man, this is, yeah. I mean, some of it, sure. Like, yeah, it definitely feels, but even like the production of it, like it everything just sounds actually really like much not 1970, 1972. Like it just sounds, it sounds really, really like pretty polished and, yeah.
It's aged extremely well,
very well.
I listen to this record quite a lot, and it's funny because people say. So sorry, I was going to build up to this, but like you liked it, obviously.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, I was trying to find a way to like maybe. Yeah, no, I did. It was, yes, I do. It's definitely like unique. Obviously like Bowie-esque, or you feel like I felt like a good relationship to Bowie with some of this stuff, especially Ziggy Stardust, like Metal Guru, like, or like that whole like even that is like, I'm pretty sure that's Starman, right? Like like they're just some of that stuff, just the relationship there with them there, and but yeah, it just was different.
Mark Bolan was this little, like, not super tall guy. I don't want to say, just, he was height challenged. His name was Mark Feld. That was his name. And he was just this little guy. And, he had this, like, he knew how to kind of, add charisma and charm and this kind of swagger. And, him and Bowie had the same, early starts in terms of being folkies. Like they were both folk musicians. And then I think he was on Top of the Pops. This is this is their 7th record, by the way. But
7th.
Yeah, right. So T.Rex used to be Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I think that was like one of the lines in his poem from his folk days. Yeah, he was scheduled to go on Top of the Pops, and he put sparkles on his face, and he kind of like made himself look like this kind of like almost like a Ziggy Stardust kind of space creature. But he was very androgynous, like very kind of, kind of female and male at the same time. And people really kind of got into this whole thing. And the music took on that feel too, of like the kind of sexy, smooth. It wasn't like hard, it was, and people really like, you hear, Def Leppard in Rocket, they, name check T.Rex and Mark Bolan. So like, so many people were impacted by this, and it was just such a, like, it was like Beatlemania apparently when Bolan, like, he just kind of entered this thing and people were like, oh my God. And yeah. And Bowie came along and they were kind of like frenemies. Like they had the same producer, Tony Visconti, but they had this love-hate relationship because they were always competing with each other. And Bowie obviously would, get the last laugh, but yeah, this is like a hell of a record. And they say that this was him at his pinnacle.
Well, you mentioned this being his 7th album, and even Tony Visconti had mentioned that like these are basically like the first 3 T.Rex albums. He's like, when you think about T.Rex, it's like Electric Warrior, The Slider, and Tanks is basically what makes who T.Rex. Because I was like, I thought at least Electric Warrior was the first T.Rex album. I knew that there was the first, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex one with, what was that song? Something with the White Swan, right?
Riding a White Swan.
Riding a White Swan, which is also a really good song. Like that kind of launched them, but and like that I guess was essentially the first glam rock song. So the internet says, but yeah, it just seems, it's crazy that, like, I mean, at the same time, you're like, yeah, well, you work this hard for that many years, and that's how you get to making, excellent albums like this one and Electric Warrior and Tanks. So yeah. Also not surprising just to know that there was that much work put in ahead of time. So also led to him being very, very into himself and, I guess very like, not nice to the band at times, and yeah, or Visconti, yeah,
no, not nice to anyone really. Apparently, sadly, not the nicest guy, and a lot of his band members left on him. Flo and Eddie, those background singers, left. They couldn't deal with him anymore. They left before Tanks, I think, and Mickey Finn left on him. Yeah. He didn't have a lot of buddies, unfortunately.
Well, even that, like you mentioned, the top hat on the album cover, just that album cover, like you've heard about the whole stories behind who took the photo and who he claimed took the photo of him. Yeah, of him there.
Tell that it's Ringo Starr and Visconti, I think, right?
Yeah. So like at the time of making the album, Ringo Starr was doing a documentary on Bolan and T.Rex, and so they went out and to get some shots or whatever, and Bolan gave Visconti, as Visconti recalls it, he gave him his Nikon camera and said, take some pictures of me, whatever. Ringo's off doing some other stuff, so take some pictures of me here and we'll see what we can use it, blah blah blah. So when he saw the whatever those sheets are with like all the photos on it or something like that they were selecting from, Visconti was like, oh yeah, those are my shots. And he's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'll make sure to credit you. Anyways, forever Bolan just said it was Ringo Starr so that he could, so that he could
name check,
he either forgot he was going to credit Visconti, or he was just like, no, I'm just going to say Ringo took these pictures. And they were like actually really poorly produced, which is why the album cover looks that way. They were like really badly developed, using different types of like, not sitting long enough, using a different kind of acid, and like just all these things happened with it too in the development of it that makes it look, looking at it now, he looks like Frankenstein. I don't know.
Yeah, wasn't it like a T-Rex fan who was like a photography student or something like that who wanted to see the pictures really badly, and so he rushed the process by using the wrong solvent, and then put the pictures, and they developed too fast. And then when you know, everybody's seen this on TV in the dark room, and there's this tray of water, right? You take them and then you like put them in the water, and you see them, you know, kind of like a Polaroid almost. But that was the same, but the first process was sped up, and that screwed up the alkaline or whatever it was. I don't know the story, but
the whole processing of it just completely made it washed out and blown out, and gave it this weird. I mean, it's cool. It is. It does look weird, but I think it's like, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Fantastic. Just kind of story, you know, died in 77, but like just shooting star.
I mean,
and this record,
that's crazy. I was wondering about, I was like, what's he up to these days? Didn't realize that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't know that. And, you know, killed by his girlfriend in a car crash, essentially.
Yeah. Yes.
Tragic.
Very. How do you feel about Electric Warrior?
It was more difficult to get into than this one. I'm going to go back. Like, I didn't listen to it thoroughly, but I started it, and I was kind of like, this seems a little bit more difficult to get into than the Slider was. Well, Slider wasn't difficult to get into. Sorry to keep cutting you off, but Slider wasn't difficult to get into, but so I should have said it like that. But yeah, it was,
That's exactly how I feel about those two records. It's funny because when you talk to people prefer Electric Warrior to Slider. When you're talking about T.Rex, they think it's a better record. But I think that's mostly because of Get It On, maybe. And it did better in the charts, I think, too. But this record, the Slider, for me is like way better. I think there's great songs. You know, on Electric Warrior, but I think the Slider, I mean, this is a super record for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I mean, like some people cite, you know, like the Electric Warrior, just even lyrically, I think a lot of people look at it, like a lot of musicians look at him anyways as a writer pretty prolifically, but I think that was a big thing about Electric Warrior that a lot of artists really, really liked about him, because just wrote well. Really resonated with them.
Big Keats fan, big lyrics guy, and he liked to play with words and kind of you know, switch them out and sub them in, and nobody really seemed to understand what he was talking about.
I had no clue. like well, let's start. Let's start going through these, and because Metal Guru, see, I say it just like it is in the song. Metal Guru was
well, that's kind of what's cool about it.
Yeah,
I like it. Metal Guru.
Actually, there's one moment where I actually had to check and see if he was British, because I wasn't sure. I know, whatever, come after me, people. I wasn't sure if he was British until there's one line in one of the songs. Of course, I can't remember it now. There's one line in a song where he's like, it's the only word he says in the entire album with a British accent. And I was like, isn't this guy from like New York or something? Yeah. And then I had to go back and I was like, oh, no, he is definitely from England. But it took me up until maybe it was Ballrooms of Mars, or even like it just like something came out of him. And I was like, oh, he's British. So anyways, Metal Guru was when it first started, I was like, ooh.
What, the intro?
A little bit. I mean, like the music, the starting of it is like the instrumental of it. It's fun. It's cool. But yeah. And then I was like, and then I turned it off, and then I drove my kids to school.
Yeah.
And I came back and I put it back on and I was like, okay, all right. I just needed to be ready for it. And then I got into it.
That's interesting.
And I, yeah, it was almost like I needed this shock of like, whoa, okay, this is what it's going to be. Hold on. I need to be in the right, just, now I know what I'm getting into.
Okay.
Take a break. Let's get back to it. And I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with Metal Guru.
I like it too. It's like kind of loose and lazy and fun, and it's
a blast.
Strange, but it's kind of it's got like a charm about it, right? It's very
yes. Like this is where I'm saying it's like weird. It's so hard. It's kind of like hard to even just like identify what type of music it is. It's just
right.
It's kind of fun. I don't know. I kind of thought a little bit about like Modest Mouse for some reason at times, and like I don't know. I just those kinds of bands that I consider weirdish, and I was like, oh, okay, but I'm enjoying it. Love the song.
Yeah. This super confident. This confidence kind of this very this ease and confidence comes across. Like he's just he's having fun. And he doesn't care if you like it or not, which is
7th album.
Yeah.
Just ready to.
Yeah.
Off we go.
Yep.
It's a great kind of also anthem to kick off the album. You'd almost think this would be, I don't know, starter of side 2. Like when I think about it, I'm like, it's kind of an interesting opening track.
That would be fun to do the sequencing for this. I think there's 13 songs on this record.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them, I think, that you could move around.
Visconti said that this was recorded in 4 days in Paris, and he said they recorded 17 songs.
Yeah, more than that. There's a ton. If you look at the bonus tracks for this, there's loads of songs. They did this apparently. Elton John told him to go to France because of Britain's tax laws. So they went to this castle, set up, and I think it was 5 days, and they banged out like a ton of songs, all of these at least, and like the basic tracks, right? And then they went somewhere else. I can't remember where they went, and they finished it. But yeah, the majority were done in like 5 days. It's crazy. But I love that. That's those are like, I hate to say like the old days, right? Where bands just went in and they knew the material and they were, they did like maybe 2 or 3 takes and that was it. There was no screwing around. Yeah.
No. I mean, he even said as they got there, like he was drinking pretty heavily, I guess, on their way to the into the studio. And I guess when they got there, they were all eating. And he was like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm paying you guys to make an album, not to sit around and eat. So let's record. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay. And like Visconti was like, we used to have a lot of fun, and then we got to that album and people started to be afraid to look him in the eyes. And then, but then at the end of the day, when we would listen back to what we had, like we were like running around the castle, like having a great time because everything was coming together so well. So it was like this very like Jekyll and Hyde experience, I guess, working with Bolan. And also like so many strings on this album, right? And in his music, he didn't want to credit Visconti for all of the work that he did on it, because that means Visconti's name would have been on the album more than his. So really? So like, I don't know. I just, it's weird. It's a weird vibe that I get from Bolan.
Yeah.
From the grave, I guess. But, yeah. So anyways, I digress. But, Metal Guru, fun tune, really good. Yeah. Mystic Lady, also weird.
The folk roots you can hear in this quite a bit, right? And those strings again, I love the mix of the strings and Bowie was great with this too on Hunky Dory.
Yes,
just with the acoustic. And I don't know, again, it's spare and like you can identify all the instruments and it's very kind of plaintive. Like I love that. Super compelling.
Yeah. And I'm a sucker for ba-da-da-da-das. I'm a sucker for him. So like when he came in here and he's like, baby, ba-da-da, you're just like, yes.
See, but again,
like, nailed it.
that's the 50s vibe, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a
fair.
doo-wop thing.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I
Good
mean
point.
about like the Buddy Hollies and the Little Richard stuff. That's where
Right.
that comes from. He skipped
Going
over
back.
the Beatles and borrowed nothing from it, and kind of went back one full generation almost. Really cool.
That's so good. So it's cool to like Bolan because everybody liked the Beatles, and it's not cool to like what everybody else liked. So that's why we have to like T.Rex. Yeah.
That was probably it.
Yeah.
That's probably what he was. Maybe that was his mindset. I don't know, because everybody was like Beatlemania, right? This, like, the Beatles had just broken up 2 years before.
Pleasant crescent moon fills my heart with pain, fills my toes with rain. That was when I was started to be like, okay, this guy's on another level.
Yes.
I needed to go buy a bag of mushrooms and really take this thing in.
Right.
I didn't, but it's still in my mind to maybe do something like that. But yeah,
he was a chemical adventurer too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
that would make sense. Yeah. Rock On's great. Love this. This is like just so awesome.
Again, you can hear under that the guitar's at the front of the mix, but if you listen closely, you can hear that boogie woogie piano underneath. And again, that's like pure Little Richard.
Yeah,
you know,
it's great.
And that is so cool. Yeah,
yeah, you're right. Bubba, bubba. Yeah, a little Jerry Lee Lewis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Flo and Eddie, that backup singing combo, like those weird melodies, right? And you can on Stardust, you can hear that, and on The Man Who Sold the World by Bowie, you can also hear that kind of. I don't know. I don't want to say Bowie got it from him, but like it's just those weird like melodies that are kind of amazing and kind of scary at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like Stardust is like, for me, is like there's so many great melodies on that, and these came out the same year. So I mean, like, how can you even? I don't know, right?
It was
like,
well, Visconti produced that, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Okay.
So
I guess there's that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Mild-mouthed Rita, she's a Chevy Chase cheetah. Loves everyone.
There you go.
I don't like Chevy Chase, like the Chevy Chase, different one. Chevy. I don't know. There's just some weird things going on here, but guitar is awesome on the tune too. Like, there's just a lot of really fun parts of this song, and again, it's like a quirky like bam bam bam.
I know. See, I love
telling you guys everything you already know about the song and just repeating it, but it's like those are the pieces that like it's just so out of the ordinary. And that's what's a lot of fun about it. And they kind of like lean on these vocal sound effects to help get through the song and those spaces, which just makes it a totally like unique experience. That's really what I think I'll come back to saying that a lot with this one. Is it just seems so different and unique. Yeah.
But again, he created a movement almost.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean about like the Def Leppards and all the bands that came after that really kind of recognized that as being something new and exciting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Break the mold. Break it. I could never see the cosmic sea was like a bumblebee. How could you never ever see that the cosmic sea was like a bumblebee, Brent? Like, isn't that just common knowledge?
Hello.
Hello. Like, obviously. What was the other one? Oh yeah, just right after that. I've never kissed a car before. It's like a door.
Is that a correct lyric?
I mean, it's gotta be. It's on Genius. I'm reading it right here.
I saw this thing the other day that, do you know Justin Hawkins, the singer for The Darkness? Yeah. He has this really great show called Justin Hawkins Rides Again. He's like so funny. And he said he just kind of said it as an aside. He said, "Oh, and the lyrics," he said, "they never get those right anyway. They always screw up the darkness lyrics. They don't know what they're talking about." And then
This is probably a good point.
So I guess like I don't know who's responsible for those, but then it's not like it's from some official lyric sheet or something. So
right,
yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, I know he says I've never kissed a car before, and I'm just kind of like,
I know that lyric for sure.
There's that lyric, but it's like a door.
I don't know what the door
is. It's like a door in that it provides a frame to that which can be seen outside. I don't know. The slider is clearly what we're talking about. The strings that come in, great song. Love this.
Amazing melodies. This song reminds me, I was thinking about this today because I was listening to this in the car. You know that song, Kiss Me, Kill Me, or no, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me by U2? Do you remember that song for the Batman soundtrack in like 91 or 92? I'm not, like you're probably, when were you born? 91?
Doesn't matter. I would have been not old enough to remember. Love Michael Keaton. Great Canadian.
Anyway, it sounds very similar to that song, but like again,
okay.
U2, maybe, we're influenced by T.Rex too.
Going back. Yeah.
But just really cool. This is a really cool song because the melodies are amazing. Those four notes, da, 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 after he says, I slide. Like,
yep.
You didn't hear anything like this at that time. I mean, there was Ziggy Stardust, but this was very atmospheric and freaky and game changing.
Yeah, it feels very also like just in the moment. Like, I don't know, like it just the way that he's delivering it. What do I know? But it just feels very like in the moment. And just to go from, singing to do 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 do. Like you might want to fill that with lyrics or words, but like he just went with do do do's, and it's just like great. That's all that it needs. Like, and so I don't know. I feel like when that stuff happened, it's like, is it really thought out to be like, okay, we're going to do this. And then when I get here, I'm going to go do, and it's going to come out like, I don't know. There's just something also like in that feels very authentic and in the moment when delivering something like that outside of lyrics and just, I mean, and I know there's a lot of vocal noises or whatever they are throughout the albums, but just, I don't know. That's what it just feels very authentic and not just thought out.
Like happy accidents almost, right?
Something like that, right? Like that's what he was feeling at the time.
But yeah.
No, but like that's what he was compelled to do.
Right.
And I don't know. And again, can't ask him, but maybe that was.
Is Visconti still around? I don't know if he's still alive.
Well, he did do Black Star for Bowie. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
I was pretty sure he did that one.
When was that? 2016 he passed away.
Oh, yeah. Still around. Totally.
Write him a letter.
Let's get him on the show, man.
Ask him. Well, hey.
How great would it be get a couple of these people on the show to revisit some of the albums? Tony, reach out.
If you're watching, reach out.
Fine, we'll reach out to you. Have you seen our TikTok channel? So, Baby Boomerang.
I like this song. Again,
I do too.
It's 12-bar blues. It's got that like Elvis. What is that Elvis song that sounds exactly like this? Do 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 do. Right, and it also sounds like, by the way,
You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog.
Yeah, actually, it's similar. I think that's it. See?
Yeah.
That's it.
Great point. Wow.
That's it. That is it. And there's another song called "The Poison." See, covered by Kenny Loggins and Messina, called "Your Mama Don't Dance and Your Daddy Don't Rock and Roll." if you listen to that, it's a very similar riff. Do, 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 do. It's that old kind of 50s thing. Yeah.
I don't know. Mince pie, dog eye, eagle on the wind. I'm searching through this garbage looking for a friend. Doesn't matter to me. I don't know what he's saying. Just having a good time. Love the song. Love
Me
the
too.
song, Baby Boomerang.
That's great.
Spaceball Ricochet.
This for me is kind of like, I don't know. It's not one of my favorites, but it's an example of like how, again, those central themes of the strings and those harmonies really kind of elevate it. Because if they weren't there, I often think the song maybe wouldn't be the best.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a little. I feel it though. Like I feel it works again. Just trying to think about the whole Bowie idea too. It just also feels kind of like it. The similarities there with some type of like a Bowie song. Is there as well, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's all right.
It's fine. Yeah, almost at the end of side one.
Almost. It's pretty long, eh? Yeah, 13. So yeah, Buick McCain.
Love this song. That's what I love about this record is that over the 13 songs, like you can develop new favorites every time you listen to it, right? You might like, Telegram Sam, you might like Buick McCain, you might like, whatever it is. And every time you listen to it, there's this, it's one of those records that you can just listen to this over and over again.
The Black Keys.
Yeah. There's another band.
That was like when this came on, I was like, Black Keys. I'm like, hey, anyways, whatever. It just just interesting to hear a lot of like what you assume were influenced like by.
Oh yeah, that's a very safe bet.
So
very safe bet. And Guns covered this on the Spaghetti Incident.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't listened to that one. I should check out their version. It's really such a good song that like I don't know, and like again, right? It's almost like heavier. It seems heavier and now like a little more serious rock and roll than Metal Guru was and Rock On. It's like this more of like punchier, heavier. Anyways,
do you know what I think that is? And it happens later on Chariot Chugel. The guitar is kind of doubled with a cello, like a bowed cello, like those great big ones. If you listen closely, when you listen to, we'll get to it, Chariot Chugel, the guitar is paired so closely with the cello that it sounds like a guitar effect. It sounds like it's one instrument. But in Buick McCain, at the very end of the song, they kind of diverge and they start playing different things. The cello plays more notes and you can tell that they split. But when you combine them, there's this ominous kind of sound and it sounds heavy. To your point, it's very kind of gloomy and almost sinister.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that split at the end, man. It feels like almost out of nowhere, like an orchestra just comes in,
right?
Like a full orchestra too, right? Like it's just, I don't know how many instruments or how many strings there were, but whatever. It just sounds, it's really cool how that creates all of a sudden this full string section just by diverting, like you mentioned, for that last, maybe like 30 seconds ish.
Yeah. It's very cool.
One other thing just about the amount of people that they had working on this, I guess it made it difficult. I mean, they may make it difficult for any band aside from Van Halen to like record so many parts and then have to go play it live. So it was always just, I guess, a bit of a different experience for people. Not to say it was a bad experience, but it wasn't like you had a lot of backup vocals, you had a lot of overdubs, you had a lot of things happening that you just wouldn't see with a 4-piece band when they would play live.
Right. And back then you couldn't replicate those things as easily because the technology wasn't there. So yeah, it would sound quite different live, I imagine.
Yeah. Okay. Get it on. Bang a gong. Sorry, Telegram Sam.
I'm like, wrong record.
Yeah.
It's the same riff, but in A instead of E, I think.
Brilliant.
Isn't it though?
Brilliant.
It's the exact same thing. It's the same riff. I think that's so funny. And you know, he took a lot of stick for that, right? Because it was almost like he kind of wanted to like, it's like he re-recorded the song just in a different key.
Yeah, and put it out as one of the singles, like one of the lead tracks from the album. Like, did we already hear this from this guy? Look, it's a great riff. Good for him. He should do that because this is an awesome song.
Yeah,
I love Telegram Sam.
So do I. It's
awesome.
Oh, it's fantastic, but it's basically it is Get It On. It's really funny. It's the same song.
Because he was also like very protective of like his image in terms of like people don't take me seriously, right? And so he wanted them to look at this album too, to be like, look at me doing something different. But it just like this song and this song as a lead single or a single from the album would not have helped his case at all.
Right.
As much as it's a great song.
Yeah. What was I going to say? This song was about his manager, right? His main man, Telegram Sam. His main man was Telegram Sam, who was, what was his name? Tony Secunda, I think was his name. And he called him his main man because he was his manager, but also he was his narcotics pusher.
Of course he was. Yeah.
Tony Secunda. Man.
Tony Secunda and Tony Visconti. Good tune. Love it. Mm-hmm. Rabbit Fighter's interesting.
I always wondered if there's some correlation between Rabbit Fighter and Rapid Fire. Is that like a Keats poetry thing?
You're asking the wrong kid, but yeah, I don't know.
Like, what is a rabbit fighter?
I mean, when you hear him sing it, you could swear he's saying rapid fire.
That's what,
right?
Yeah.
It's like sung very closely to that. And if I didn't know before listening to it, the song was called Rabbit Fighter, then I would have called this
Rapid
Fire.
I think maybe it was him being like tongue in cheek. It has to be because it's like, I don't know what a rabbit fighter is, but anyway, I like the song. I do like it.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you? You don't like it?
It's not bad.
It's not my favorite.
It's a little like it's a nice, like, again, it's cool just to see what else he can do. Like the guitar playing is it's cool. Like I love hearing the licks in between some of the verses and the chorus and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, the whole "call me Rabbit Fighter" is just a little too. I'm like, I don't know if I'm following this too closely, but
a lot of people say when this came out, critics were very harsh, and they said if not for Tony Visconti, this album would never have happened because it's junk without Tony Visconti. And you listen to Spaceball Ricochet and Rabbit Fighter, and it's kind of like you could make a case for that, right? Because if you listen to, like, again, the harmonies, the strings, like those common themes, and if you strip all that out, if this was like just an unplugged acoustic thing of Mark Bolan, who did not have a great voice, playing his acoustic and singing like Rapid Fire, Rabbit Fighter, whatever it is, I don't know how it would sound.
Oh, all right. That's fair.
Listen, I love this record. I've listened to it a million times, and I'll listen to it a million more times. I don't really care who's responsible for, the quality of it or whatever. But you can make a case for sure.
Yeah.
And it would be very interesting to see if Visconti was removed, like what the album would have sounded like had he not participated in it.
1 and a 2 and a bubbity boo, yeah.
This is like David Lee Roth's drunk uncle. Is that like the weirdest thing?
That's gotta be it, man.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, another day.
David Lee Roth's drunk uncle. Yeah. So baby Strange. I mean, I don't like it's a good tune. I don't know. Broken record now. We're at the point of the record where it's kind of like, yeah, I enjoyed this. It's still a good song.
Same.
Still putting good things together.
Just the catchy groove again. You know, just
so catchy.
That rhythmic style of the guitar riff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Groovy.
I mean, there's a few things that maybe start to sound like a little the same. Like kind of following the same structure, the same pattern, you know. It's kind of rock on-ish, right? It's a little bit of that, you know, kind of sparse, spread out soloed notes and stuff. But anyways, yeah, Baby Strange is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's easy to listen to. It's easy to just like to listen to and have on. You're not going to skip it. You're going to skip a lot of songs on this album.
No, you're not. You know, that's funny because there are 13 songs and there are maybe 2 that I don't love. All the rest of them, I really, really like.
Yeah. Ballrooms of Mars.
Probably my least favorite of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You?
I like it more than Spaceball Ricochet.
Do you, eh?
Yeah.
Those are the two. Those are the 2 songs that I don't really care for on the record.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. No, but like this one is it's. I like the melody of it. It's so that's what gets me through. That's why I enjoy it more than that. I think the melody is much nicer and just more pleasing to follow along with. And then Chariot Shugal.
My favorite song on the record.
No way. Look at this, eh?
Favorite. See again, track 9, right? Second last track. Totally wrong. This is
totally wrong.
It might not be the best song, but it's my favorite song on this album. Just that unique riff is so cool, right? Do 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 do. And again, it's paired with a cello. So it's got that very interesting kind of ominous sound about it. It just sounds so unique. Like you don't really hear riffs like that at the. Do you know what I mean? At the very beginning, it's very like it kind of. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, "Wow, what's this?" And I loved it immediately.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of the chorus. Baby, you know who you are. It's kind of like, but everything else leading up to that is super cool. Well, we talk about all the like people who were influenced and influences we assume were had, but I can definitely tell you, Lil Jon was influenced by Mark Bolan.
Right?
Yeah. So
I know.
we could definitely check that one off. Lil Jon inspired by T.Rex. So, yeah. No, good tune as well. Yeah. Like you said, the chorus is okay, but everything outside of that is great with the song.
Yeah.
And then main man.
Perfect end to a very, very strong record. What a song.
Yeah.
Just so absolutely. Like, I love it, man. It's just so authentic and almost a little bit heart-wrenching, right? It kind of, for me, like it's like Bolan. And you know what? Look at it from that perspective of like, you know, you're my drug dealer, you're my main man. He's basically saying like, are you going to be able to give me my next fix, right? And there's a little, you know, kind of a hint of desperation there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Bolan likes to rock now. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting when I heard him throw that in there. It's kind of like, you know, are you a god, man? Like all these kinds of things. I don't know. It's just kind of a nice. It's a cool way to end an album in terms of like just like going deep, right? Like a deep kind of like introspective song that you can just even become introspective yourself with. You know, it just gives you a chance to sit there and think and listen along and be like, are you like it's very repetitive, obviously, right? It's all this, are you this man, are you main man, blah blah blah. But because of that, you're allowed to really just, I mean, that's the whole idea of meditation, right? Repetitive and just like being like, so
that's a good point.
I think it's a very good meditative song. So,
exactly. It's the same dynamic almost. Yeah. I love that. Cool. Well, look at you.
Look at you.
98. So
Show number 98.
I was keeping this one in my back pocket for a little while because I love this record, man.
Feel like we had to build up to this one. I don't know. Again, there's a couple that we've had to build up to because I think there's like some of them I just would not have been mature enough to have appreciated.
Yeah, to develop your callus.
That's right. That's right. My palate. That was like I tried.
I said your callus.
I know. And then like
and
my
then
palate. Right.
Oh,
you said callus.
Okay.
I said palate.
I thought you misunderstood me.
No. Same thing, but different. But like I developed my palate, like because I was just gonna say like I tried mushroom fettuccine the other day, and I was like, maybe I've grown into liking mushroom and the mushroom sauce. Have not.
Oh, not yet.
Have not. No. Just disgusting. Not a mushroom fan.
Oh yeah.
Fine. Oh, see, look at you, right? Look at you. Like, oh, you don't like mushrooms? You don't like mushroom sauce? No, I haven't developed my palate for it.
I liked them when I was your age.
Mushrooms? Oh, yeah.
Is it because of how they're...
Wait, like real mushrooms or like psychedelic mushrooms?
Both.
No. No, it's just the taste. It's dirt, man. Mushrooms are fungus. They're dirt. And
well, they're more than that.
Put them into a sauce, like a pasta sauce. It's...
it's funny because I watched I like cooking and I'm into cooking. And I used, not that I love him, but like Gordon Ramsay, I would watch kind of, his shows and stuff like that. The cooking instruction ones. And so his theory was that, most people say you got to really wash the mushrooms off because they're grown in manure, right? Like fecal matter, really, technically. And so he said, no. Like the best restaurants don't really wash them off because you're washing the flavor of the mushroom. That's what he said. So just like imagining millions of people watching the show and just gagging, going, "Oh my God, I was at a
never gonna eat.
And I ate like horse manure."
It's disgusting. Anyways, T.Rex the Slider gets 4.5 out of 5.
4.5.
Yeah.
Why so chintzy? 1 out of 5.
Spaceball Ricochet.
Okay. And Rabbit Fighter?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe Rabbit Fighter. Yeah.
Or Ballroom to Mars.
That's a good point. No, I like Ballroom to Mars. You don't. No. You know what? You're right. I give it a 4. It's a 4.5. It's a 4.5.
Okay. Good for you.
Yeah. Enjoyed.
Good. Well done. I'm glad.
All right. So what are we doing? Okay. What are we doing for 99?
So, we're going to do the retrospective.
Okay, great.
Aren't we? Do you want to?
Sure.
I think we should. So maybe you and I, before we reconvene on the show, we'll talk between now and then in terms of like how we want to, if we want to add detail. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of pretty vast to just say, let's go through 98 records and
98 episodes,
more than 100 records, really, because
roughly
it would be 104, I think, with the Van Halen Cinderella.
Well, the Van Halens, the Cinderellas, didn't we do Blondie and? Oh no, we were going to do Blondie and the other one. I thought we did 2 at another time there, but anyways, yes, you're correct. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll figure out how we want to do it and be able to kind of jam it into 40, 50 minute time frame. Yeah, unless you want me to come up with another record.
I don't know. Let's do it. Let's look back. And then we'll
I
get
think
to
it's kind of cool,
episode
right?
100.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be fun to do that.
Great. We'll do it. Okay, folks. Okay. No album. Just 103 albums.
103.
Not
one. So you're really going to get your money's worth when you tune in next time, kids. There you go. Here, I'll give you these. Off I go.
Okay. Yeah, hit them. Here we go.
Let's put them through.
Yeah.
3, and then you just need 100 more. 101 more.
Okay.
Your poor little head is going to be so weighed down that you'll feel like Alice Cooper in $1 Billion Babies. I'm so scared your little head will come off because of all the headphones.
Well, I can tell you now, we won't be talking very much about that album. So that's for darn sure. That will not be on the long list of whatever, man. All right, sweet. Hey, we'll see you back here for episode 99.
Yes, sir.
We're almost at 100, folks. Almost at triple digits.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And those Tom
like us. Petty. Amen.